All right. So we'll start off thoughts on Time of Crisis as the base game.
Yeah.
What do you think?
The thing I love about this game more than anything else, and there's a lot to like about it, every game there's a real story. Mm-hmm. Right? Like, you can tell the story of what happened in the game. I don't mean just sort of, like, thinking about the history. I mean, like, I screwed you over, you screwed me over. Like, there's a real flow to the game. Like, there's a real story. And it just, I don't know, I'm very immersed in the game.
Yes.
That's the thing I like about it more than anything else.
Okay.
So, yeah.
What about you?
I'm a huge fan of this game. Bought the expansion as soon as I heard about it. It's a deck builder, but I think that the fact that you can pick the cards out is so great because you get caught in these moments where you're like, oh, I did this myself.
You can only blame yourself. That's right. You can only
Look at what
blame
happens
yourself
when you backload your deck.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, and this is just so, like, the fact that the cards, like, there's such an insane ramp up between, like, from the 2s to 3s to the 4s. Like,
right.
So many deck builders are oriented around, like, trashing your cards, making your deck lean, making it efficient. And in this, it's like, yeah, I could trash a card, but I could also get, like, a 3 that can do insane things on this board, or, like, maybe a 4, which has, like, the 4s in this game are ludicrous. Like, all of them just have nutso effects. And also I think the barbarian system in this is brilliant. Like, it's maybe my favorite part of this, because like going back to, like, talking about how this makes a story, the story of, like, the barbarians, like, massing on the borders and, like, coming in, like, that changes. Like, I had a plan going in this that was completely thrown out the window as soon as, like, the Goths came in and the Assassins came in and just, like, wrecked house for a while.
Right.
Right. I mean, you were in a really nice position early to set yourself up as a pretender.
Yeah.
Until life happens.
Yes.
Yeah, and I just had to, like, clear them out, and it just took forever to, like, dig out of there. But, like, you guys were also dealing with your own problems.
Right.
So yeah, there's just, I don't call this like it's certainly not a perfect game. Like, there's certainly elements that, like, could maybe use a little more polish, but, like, I love playing it.
I think the theme, I'm huge on Ancient Rome, first off. I think the flow of the game is really good. I mean, there was a little bit of but even during the downtime, I'm watching what you guys are doing, and I'm planning out my turn. There was one time, it took me probably 5 minutes to figure out how to piece together my next turn, with my cards. And so there's a definite flow. I agree with you that the Barbarian Horde, the way the AI or the script or whatever you want to call it, works super well. It is possible that it's all like in our previous game, to where it seemed like it was always the Nomads. No matter what happened, it was like the Franks had one turn the entire. So there is that randomness in there. I don't mind that, because
it's fine.
I could see the story playing out like, oh, hey, this is what happened.
Yeah, and there's also benefits to having a bunch of barbarians in your border, because you get a bunch of points for it.
Yeah.
You know, one of the reasons that I was behind early is because I never fought barbarians.
Right.
Yes.
And I mean, I could have gone out of my way to do it, but I would have had to actually invade Frankish territory, and I was trying to consolidate.
Yeah.
Right? So, I mean, it really does make a difference.
Yeah.
Good and bad.
Right. And I felt like I got a little hemmed in, but again, it was my choice. I think if I had it to do over, I would have started in
Gaul.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I would have started over there.
Right, you were in the middle of us.
I did it to see if it would work out. It didn't. But it wasn't so much that I got attacked on both sides. It was just for the fact that I didn't play as well, I feel like. And I feel like it wasn't because of really bad rolls, maybe here or there, but I don't feel like... I feel like I made the decisions that caused me to lose, not the game.
Yeah. And this is one of those games where, like, the dice basically even out.
I'm sure somebody could tell you, no, they absolutely don't, but I'm okay with it.
Yeah.
It's not one of those where you have to, like, roll a 1 or a 6 to get a hit, right?
Right.
Like, the dice are sort of set so that, like, you're roughly going to get a hit a half the time that you attack.
Yeah.
So.
And it feels reasonable. There's not a ton of rules overhead in this.
Right.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of it as well. I think it scales well. I haven't played it at 2 players yet. Have you?
No, I played it at 2, and we had 2 AIs because of the expansion has the AI things, and that was okay. I feel like so when you have
This
two,
isn't the game I would play it
Two would be-
players
yeah, 'cause
without
you,
the
like-
Yeah,
AI.
there's a lot of really good two.
you cut out. I think you
Right.
cut out like Syria and Galatia and Britain maybe, and like it's just it's a much more I don't know having the map like having more mobility around and having like
Yeah.
a bunch of different like factions fighting each other just makes this more interesting.
Yeah, I like
Yeah.
it at both 3 and 4, to be honest with you. And I haven't tried the AI yet, so I can't speak to that.
I was worried that it was not going to be at because when we played to sort of test it out. We played
Right.
at 4,
Yeah.
Right.
and I had a blast. And I was worried this was going to be a little bit less interesting, but it actually was fine.
Yeah, I think it still works
Yeah.
for free.
Yeah, I agree. So, as far as the expansion, I would never not play without the expansion. I think the cards, throwing them all in there, let people make their own decisions. I
Yeah.
see no problem. There, at no point, the fact that that's all the cards that are in
Right.
there, they all make sense. They're
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
At no point, like okay, the Federati, I know what they do.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Right.
I by the end of the first game with playing with the expansion, you're going to know the cards.
Yeah.
You're fine.
The most complicated cards are the ones in the base game for sure.
Right, yeah, the Pretender
Yeah. Yep.
is probably arguably the most complex
Yeah.
Yep.
one, and it's not hard
Yeah.
at all. So I would play with all the cards, let people make their own decisions, and I think the governors, the type of governors, I love it.
Yeah,
Why
that's
not?
very cool.
Let people make their own decisions when they become emperor.
Yep.
I think it's great. The AI, I don't know, but I'm hoping to. You've played it.
It's cool. I mean, so it's got a lot of neat elements to it where there's 3 different kinds. So there's one that's like red focused and one that's blue focused and one that's yellow focused. And they actually play out like that. Like you'll have one that's just like roaming around and like, beating the crap out of barbarians, so it's just doing a lot of red stuff. And you have, the yellow one is just like building up this empire and like basically going guaranteed to become a pretender eventually. It's really interesting. They did a really good job with it. It's fiddly, like it is like the most complicated part of the expansion.
There's
is
probably
figuring
like
out how
a
to do
really
the AI.
complicated decision tree.
Yeah. There's a lot. I mean, like this reference, the back of it is the cards, but like this is like what the AI does for each event, and like
Yeah.
this is like the priority list for the AI. Like
Yeah.
it's a lot,
Yeah.
but it's really cool, and I think it, in a situation where you have 2 people and you want to play this, I think it makes a lot of sense.
And I
Right.
imagine for a solo game, it probably does well as well, having three AIs going out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's nice that they're competitive.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
you're
they
not
actually
really
work
just
really
sort of
well.
like seeing how high your score can be. when
Right.
you're
It's,
actually
Yeah.
No, you're
competing,
trying to win. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the exploding dice probably are a controversial component for some people.
I'm okay with it.
I
Again,
think-
with war games, I don't want
Yeah.
deterministic stuff.
Yeah,
Right.
I think that element of chance and risk and like I'm just going to do this to see what happens just makes it much
Particularly
more
on the
interesting.
political side. Like the military, I mean, it certainly mattered a couple of times for you guys.
Right.
But on the political side, if you've got like 2 dice and you need 3 votes,
Yeah,
Do I risk it?
it gives you
right. If you
So
get
you're
the points
saying
anyway.
gives you a
there's
reason.
chance, right? Or else it's completely deterministic, and then it
Exactly.
just becomes a math game. And
Right.
I like that.
Yeah.
If you were risk adverse, then you
Right.
wait until you have. But even with the 3, you need 3 votes, and you get 3 dice. You could still fail. You could
Yeah.
still roll some ones. It could
Right.
happen.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm on board with the exploding dice. I see 0 issue whatsoever
Right.
for me.
Yep.
So Chip asks, kind of like how I feel Farmers of the Moor is, like I would never play without without Farmers
Yeah.
of the Moor and Agricola. Would you ever play without the expansion?
Now that I have it, I don't think so. Like,
No, but I think the
Like, I don't
base
think you
game is
n-
perfectly fine
Yeah, I don't-
without it.
Yeah.
you don't need it.
No.
Yeah.
But I do think it.
I think it
Yes.
adds something.
It
a
does.
lot.
I mean,
the cards are hugely different.
Right.
it lets you think about how you're going to work your emperorship in a different way too.
Yes.
Like,
Yeah.
As opposed to, oh, hey, I'm the emperor, or I'm the pretender.
Yeah, and we
that's
didn't
it.
we didn't get to see a chance to have a military emperor come out, but that's really fun. Have just like this arm, like you just get this gigantic army roaming around, just like trying to find people to fight, basically.
Oh, you
and then
died.
he's dead.
But if you won the battle, you get double points.
Yeah,
so
right.
there's
It's
that,
huge.
right?
yeah.
And you run the risk that maybe a stray arrow hits you.
Right. Life's tough in ancient Rome.
Yeah.
Seriously.
Sure is.
Got a nick.
I
hey,
mean,
it's gonna.
As you can, I mean, like I think one of the really funny thing about this game is that the way it turned out, like the empire is in total disarray.
Welcome to
Right.
3rd
It
century
is a
Rome.
total disaster.
Yeah,
which is
it's a
what really
mess.
happened.
Right.
Yeah.
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 That's
All the
why-
armies are out on the borders instead of defending the homeland.
As you said, there's a story here,
Great
right?
story, right?
So yeah,
Yeah.
I think the expansion isn't necessary, but I think it brings a lot to the game, and I think the game benefits from it, but it's not necessary. But now that I have it, I will never not play with it.
Having
Yeah.
played both ways, I love the extra.
Yeah, I
The
do
extra.
too. And to be honest with you, it might be for your first play. It's probably too much to introduce.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Maybe. So you had one play of the
Had
base
one
game,
play of the base game.
and one of this, and
Yeah.
you were fine.
That was plenty of ramp for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
So
not
there
a
you go.
difficult game to learn at all.
It's really not. I
Yeah.
mean, the rule book for the expansion with historical notes is 12 pages.
And like 8 of those pages are just the AI stuff. Like
Right.
it's yeah.
Yeah, it was less than 2 pages for the generals.
Right.
And the cards, it's on a play rate. Pretty clear. So
Yeah.
there you go. All right, so that's it. That's Time of Crisis with the Iron and Rust expansion. Thanks everybody who hung out with us tonight, as well as watching after the fact. If you guys liked it, like and subscribe down below. Support the show over on pledgehc.com so we can continue to grow this, continue to upgrade the equipment. Plus, you guys get access like the Slack channel and the teaching notes, which people really seem to be enjoying. So there's that. I'll be back tomorrow night with a big one. It's Democker, the brand new, soon to be going to Kickstarter next month edition. 4th edition of Democker coming out from Spielworks Stronghold / Indie Boards and Cards. So I'm excited to show that off. It's way different, so just know that. But I'm looking forward to it. I had fun tonight.
Yeah,
Joe.
Yeah, it's
absolutely.
good times.
All right, hopefully you all did as well. So catch y'all tomorrow. I'm Edward.
Ken.
Andrew.
All right, you guys have a wonderful evening. We'll see you all tomorrow.